Let us see if other people join us. So this series is happiness here and now. The state of the happiness cannot be achieved by any action, thought, and speech. So today's is 15th verse. Do you remember that the first chapter, the master is talking about the very nature of the real self? Because the real self cannot be expressed in language, and still he is pointing out, this is what it means by the real self. This is the real self. This is our true nature. So he is pointing differently. That is why we have 20 verses in the first chapter. And the magic starts in the second chapter, where the seeker narrates his own experiences. While listening, he got an awakening. But he was the highest level of a seeker. Nisango nishkriyosi tvam swaprakasho niranjanah ayam evahi te bandha samadhim anutisthasi. Such a beautiful Nisango nishkriyosi tvam swaprakasho. The real self is like a sun who lights everything, all the objects. I have a camera light here, so it is lighting every object. But I do not need a candle to see this camera light. Camera light is self-effulgent, self-luminous, self-aware force of the thing. That is the nature of the real self. Means what? It indicates that real self is ever present, is always aware, is always self-luminous. That is why I gave an example. Tvam swaprakasho niranjanah. The real self is like the sun who lights everything, all the objects of the world, and it also lights itself, because it is the nature of the real self. What is the nature? It is of the nature of consciousness. So how the mind is working? Mind borrows the consciousness from the real self. How the sense organs are working? It borrows the consciousness from the real self. How the body is working? It borrows the consciousness from the real self. We have heard always the big statement when someone dies. What we say? Oh, he has left. No, his body is there. Who has left? That real self. So he is pointing, Master is pointing. Nisango, see. We talk of attachment and obsession and craziness and laziness of the mind. The Master says that real self is unattached. Forget about attachment. Attachment lives in the mind, not in the real self. Nishkriyosi. That is a little typical. Nishkriyosi means actionless. That is actionless. That doesn't do any karma. As long as I am attached that I did something wrong, I did something right, I have to work hard, that is the ego sense. In fact, that ego sense is absent. So nishkriyosi, actionless, self-luminous, swaprakasho niranjanah, ayam evahi te bandha. So what is the bondage? Why I am suffering? I'm translating and then we will understand this. Ayamevihi te bandha samadhim anutisthasi. What is the bondage? That we practice meditation. That is the bondage. On Mondays and Thursdays, we are doing what we are doing. We are doing meditation practices. Today also we will be doing the meditation practices. So it is for the highest level of a seeker who understands the knowledge is awakened in the mind and you need not to practice meditation. This is what it means. You might have been hearing the great masters, awareness, mindfulness, effortlessness, choiceless awareness. They have taken the teachings from here. So now we will understand what he says. Do you remember the 3 questions? In the beginning, Katham Jnanam Apnoti, how the knowledge of the real self is attained, how the liberation is attained, and how the dispassion is attained. These 3 questions. And he is answering, the master is answering, by pointing the nature of the real self. So those who have joined for the first time, what we are doing, Eastern wisdom says the real self is behind the body, mind, intellect, and ego. And that real self is of the nature of pure awareness, truth, wisdom, love, and permanent happiness. And it is clouded by the mind because of ignorance. Ignorance causes the impurity, and the impurity veils the real self. That is in the background. Now ask yourself, who is real self? I always used to ask a question, how long it takes you to reach to your workplace? Think in the mind, answer in the mind, from your home. How long it takes you to reach to your workplace? Now answer the next question. How long it takes you to reach to yourself? So normally I receive an answer, oh, it's a lifetime journey. What? Where you are? Do you exist here and now? Are you aware of yourself? And then ask, how long it takes you to reach to yourself? Lifetime? That is the problem of the mind. The mind always thinks in terms of the time and the space and the action. As long as the mind continues to think in terms of time, space, and action, we cannot reach to a meditative state. This is what the master is saying. So real self is no other than me. You see that? Sorry. I come to you. We say namaste. We say hi. We have to pay respect to each other because we like and love each other. We have to perform certain action to express ourselves. And whatever the expression is, that is in front of the mind. Pay attention to this. I am doing namaste, so it means I am doing some gesture, some action by thought, by speech, by action. So the mind always performs every action moving forward. What is meditation? You step back. So here, meditation is a journey to step back. Go back. Move behind. I look at you, that is the mind. When I look back, I see who is looking you. Are you getting it? Who is looking at you? So I have to live in that awareness of a knower. The moment you become aware of how to step back by knowledge, by understanding, you can enter into the state of meditation. So what I have to do to step back? Do I need to think? No. Do I need to perform any action? No. Do I need to offer anything? No. So when I go back, when I step back behind the mind, I become aware. I become seeker. I become seeker. Knowledge. Knowledge demands understanding. But what happens? We always try to understand with reference to an object outside. Take one example again. I want to know you. An example, I want to know Terry. So you see that, become aware of it. So I know Terry at a particular place, in a particular time, with a particular gender. You see that? So lot of things. The mind starts working. And now, reverse, I want to know myself. I want to know myself. I have to step back. I have to move the mind from outside to inside. This is what this verse is talking about. Knowledge of the real self begins with knowing as it is. Another point. We need to contemplate and reflect. We have already discussed as long as the mind is impure, we cannot become a seeker. And when we are not a seeker, this journey may confuse you. In fact, I am here to confuse you guys. Why? You are already confused. You already blame and complain that you have stress, anxiety, duality and conflict. Our masters say they do not exist. So I want to remove your confusion by confusing you a little more in other direction. Knowledge of the self begins with knowing as it is. I'm going a little deeper. So, I just explained, if I want to know Terry, I know by name, example, place, time, gender, color, age, profession, occupation. But I want to know Terry. Terry's parents, her parents. Hold on. When I know Terry is a Terry, Terry is made up of physical matter, isn't it? Carbs, protein, isn't it? Pay attention. That is where the little ignorance is there. The ignorance is there. And When I understand that all our bodies is made up of the matter, then where the matter is present? So normally we say briefly that this body is made up of 5 elements. Where these 5 elements exist? In the mind. Where the mind exists? In the ego sense. And where the ego sense exists, it exists in the real self. That is the way we step back. And everything is absorbed into the real self. And the moment we live into that awareness, we find our true nature. That is one way to say that we step back from there is another way to understand, but we need to contemplate and reflect. We call ourselves as a human being. Human part that appears is constantly changing. That human part is the body, breath, mind, intellect, ego, thought, blame, complaint, anxiety, stress, duality, all happens in the human part. And what about the being? Being is consciousness. Consciousness cannot be divided. So when I step back, I settle into that consciousness, and that consciousness takes me to the realization of my true nature. Last point, and then I think, Ashok and these day people know, they have visited the ashram and the monastery of my master in Rishikesh. So my master had an image, a stone, a sculpture of a dead body. It was lying, and my master has covered that dead body with an orange-colored cloth. And it is put into a glass box so that everyone can see it. So what is written there, Ashok? Do you remember? So he has written in bold letters. What is written in bold letters? That whatever we think we are will be gone. Whether it is wealth, power, possession, attachment, will go by the death. But something leaves the body is our real self. Returning again, the master is saying the nature of the real self is self-luminous, self-effulgent. Exactly the same electricity. We have a grid in the Gilbert, and then we receive electricity from another point, So what the master is saying, that we should go to the origin, the very cause of it. The body I am moving, I feel it is alive. It is because of the same consciousness borrowed from the mind goes into the body and the sense organs. The last point, if you get it, we have to contemplate and reflect. I see you. You are an object. Sense organ is the seer and the knower. First stage. Second stage, who knows all the sense organs? The mind. So mind is the seer. Sense organs are the objects. Sense organs cannot know the mind. Objects Any object cannot know the sense organ. Sense organ cannot know the mind, but mind knows the sense organ. So what it means? What is behind? When I step back, I know who is seeing this. So now see, the first is the entire world perceived by the sense organs. Sense organs are the seer and the knower. But who knows the sense organs? It is the mind. Sense organs are the objects. Now question comes, who knows the mind? It should be behind the mind. The way sense organs are behind the objects, so sense organs know the world. Mind is behind the sense organs, so mind knows the world. Who is behind the mind? Who is the knower of the mind? Who is the seer of the mind? Is the real self. It is here and now. And now answer the question, how long it takes you to reach to yourself. There is no time, there is no space. I am here and now. Happiness is here and now. Close your eyes. Let us start our journey, and then we will share our experiences. Eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. We are not going to do anything. So I sometimes point out it is a practice and it is a non-practice. When I say non-practice, you simply need to be aware. Eyes are closed gently. Are you aware of the eyes closed gently? Good. Are you aware of the body? From the top to the toes. From the top to the toes of the body. It's just simple awareness. Sometimes when the mind is crazy, then it says, no, after all, I'm aware of the body. This is also an activity. By default, we are aware. So when you are looking at the body from the top of the head to the toes, you feel the sensation. So we have to learn from our experiences. At the same time, now you are looking inside the head. Can I say you are stepping back? Just see. Are you stepping back? Yes. Eyes are closed. Looking at the body, awareness of the body, you feel the sensation, and then you are looking inside the head. So just to help the mind, we say you are looking inside the head in the space, or emptiness, or blankness, or darkness, whatever you are looking at, whatever you are aware of it. You are looking inside the head in the space. Don't start look inside the head of others. Then many thoughts will come. Oh, he's like this, she's like this. No. I'm looking inside my head. In that state, we move further. You look at the neck joint. Again, I'm saying you simply look. Don't do anything. In this practice, we refrain from doing anything, and then we simply step back. That is what the journey of meditation or mindfulness is. So when you look at the neck joint, looking means awareness, feeling, sensation. So the mind moves at the subtler level by stepping back, and it experiences sensation being comfortable, and steadiness. It is as simple as that. So, why I said pure mind and impure mind? Your mind is distracted to something else, not listening to me. Why it is distracted? Because of its likes and dislikes, attachment and detachment. So that is why every master says, understand what is the purity of the mind, then become a seeker, and then when you start the journey, you are already there. Look at the shoulder joints, feeling, sensation, comfort, steadiness. Now I see, those who have been attending my session, I always start the journey by being comfortable, being carefree, and being casual. Did I ever say becoming comfortable? You cannot become comfortable. You discover the comfort and you are there. To make it more clear, when you say you must relax, I read the book. Title, You Must Relax. You can never relax. Understand, it's all knowing process, not doing. Move the mind on the hip joint. Be there. I said be there, aware, feel. What do you feel? Sensation, being comfortable, and steadiness. The entire body, all the joints of the body. When the mind steps back, and when I say look at all the joints of the body, you may feel the sensation. You're comfortable, and there is an experience of steadiness. Mind it, we are not doing anything. We are simply knowing who is sitting behind the body, mind, intellect, ego sense. The sun, self-effulgent, being carefree. So now I'm looking inside the head and I find there are thoughts, feelings, sensation. Let there be. Does your mind get crazy when you are driving on the highway and you see other vehicles there? What you do? You continue to drive in your lane. You change the lane whenever it is required. That is another way to step back. Thoughts are there. They are coming and going. Vehicles are coming and going. I continue to drive my mind in a lane that is where I see it's an empty in the front. I don't get upset. Why? I'm not attached to any thoughts. I believe you have understood it. And when you understand it, then you are aware of it. And when you are aware of it, you are carefree. And when you are carefree, you see that all these thoughts, feeling, sensation, all the experiences that is taking place in the mind is different, separate from you. Why I am not separate in daily activities? Because I claim I am my mind. Here we are stepping back. See that? I always try to explain in a very simple way. So we will step back by awareness, by knowledge, by understanding, and that will take us to a variety of experiences. You may find the state of bodilessness, colors in the visions, expansion of the body and squeezing. What should I do? Recognize, accept it, continue the journey. Become aware of the world outside, the world of objects. Become aware of your room and the objects, items present in the room. Simple awareness. So I have been saying, this is the physical mind. The mind merges with the sense organ and becomes aware of the objects of the world. Two things. Just know that objects are there in the world outside, in the room, including the space, and you. But here, it is the physical mind. So when you are aware of the physical mind, is aware of the world of objects, you are stepping back. Happiness is here and now, my friends. Let us move little deeper, become aware of the body from the top to the toes. And the mind says, body is alive. But we know the knowledge never changes. Remember this. We may have an error in understanding, error in perception. Knowledge is knowledge. So what is this? When I say, look at the body from the top to the toes, and the mind says, this is my body, a live body. But the body is made up of matter, carbs, protein. Have you ever seen the life in the protein and the carb? And the sodium and the potassium? This is the mixture. Mixture of I am and I am not. Causes ignorance. But it is still the physical mind is able to see this body. So, what is our understanding? What is awareness of the body? That this body is not me. How do I know? When I step back, when I see from within. I can never be this body. Body is purely a matter. We're not doing anything. We are just aware, stepping back. You see, in order to express my love, respect for you, I come to you. I raise my hand or do some gesture and hug you and talk to you. That is a part of the action. Here we are not doing any action. We are stepping back. In stepping back, we have to move slowly, with awareness, with attention. And the moment you step back from the body, the mind gives you a variety of experiences. You recognize them, you accept them, and then what is subtler than the physical body? And the mind says, I see the breath. Look at the breath. How do you see the breath? The breath is going in breath is coming out. The way I see any object, so the same way I see the breath. The breath is going in and out. I feel the sensation of the breath. That is what I say when I become aware of the breath. The seer is always separate from the seen. The knower is always separate from the object. When you say, "Here is my honey," you mean to say that you are separate from the honey. Label is honey. So here, the mind is the subtle. Subtle mind is the way to step back. Two things, breath and object. You are awareness that knows the breath going in and out. So when you know both, knower or the seer, and the moving breath, Where is the knowing part? You know both the breath and who is looking at the breath. That is the simple meaning of stepping back. Means the seer of the breath and the breath. Two things. So because when the mind is not clear, when the commitment is not there, this mind sits into the body and it gives you a feeling of sleepiness or dizziness. Recognize it, accept it, continue the journey. Now, going deeper than the breath. So when you go deeper than the breath, we find the thoughts, feeling, images, sensation, all the experiences taking place in the mind. All experiences taking place in the mind. You are looking at the thoughts, feeling, and images. Who is looking? The seer. Who is that seer? Don't ask, don't give the answer in speech. Just maintain your awareness of a seeker. That is important. It is the subtler mind. That is what I have been saying before. In the previous session, why I was saying to make you understand. But it is different than that. Thoughts are coming, very good. No thought is there, very good. Everything is okay. Why? We have understood that real self is actionless. It is never changing identity. So it means what? Whatever is changing is not me. I cannot say this is one experience is me and other is not. They are my experiences. They are in front of the mind. I am stepping back. Hence I am aware of the entire thoughts and feeling and sensations. Let us go deeper than where there is no experience, no thoughts, no feeling. I see the blankness, emptiness. I see the objectless state. I am still there. The knower is there. That knower, that seer is still there, whether we have any experience or we don't have. That seer knows there is a reason, there is a zone where there is no object. That is the subtlest mind. That is the subtlest mind. Where is knowledge? Here, knowledge of the seer, the knower. I see some fumble in few of you will pick up one more so-called step here. Look deep inside the heart in the objectless state, and in order to step back, we put a milestone, become aware of a point in the heart, any point, anywhere. So we say the first milestone. How do we say? Just say Om Shanti. Om Shanti means I am the peace. Now, take your mind deeper from the first milestone. So when the mind seems to be moving deeper, that is the key. You may have a variety of experiences. So when the mind seems to stop, you say Om Shanti. That is the second milestone. And continue the journey means stepping back again from the second milestone deeper and deeper and deeper. We may find the infinite space all around, no worries. The mind seems to stop. We say Om Shanti. And we continue to do so. What happens? The time comes, the mind doesn't go anywhere. Symbolically, It means the mind has merged into the real self. The rays retrieved back to the sun. Continue. A reminder, you are stepping back with a one milestone to the second, to the third. Those who have been attending regularly, they know how I use these steps in order to deepen your practice. Why we say the mind needs to be pure? So that the mind can step back without any distraction. We did nothing, we are doing nothing. Nisangosi, that real self is unattached. Now see, in this state of the being, actionless, self-luminous. What is bondage? Ayameva hi te bandha. Bondage is that the mind moves in the front to solve the riddles of our suffering. There the solution is not. Solution is stepping back, knowing our true nature. I appreciate you all. Can we live into that state all the time? We are already there. Because the mind is obsessed with finding the solution of our suffering outside. The solution, the real self cannot be created. We are not creating it, it is there. So the question, can I live 24/7, doesn't arise. Do nothing, remain as you are. Hmm. Hmm. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. We will return with that awareness, not rushing to the body. When we rush to the body, we return to the world. And that obsession, the craziness returns. And that is why we return slowly with awareness. First, bring the mind on the right hand. Bring your mind to the left hand. Lift your both the palms. Place it on your eyes. Open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. Bring the hands down. We'll share our experiences. How are you, David and Jerry?
It was really excellent. The message just was very clear for me, and I just went into a very, very deep meditation. The analogy is the TV channel going off the air, and there's just snow on the screen for the entire time, and I heard.
That's a beautiful analogy. Yes.
And it wasn't until I appreciate all of you that I started to become aware of my body, I guess, at that point, and then just came out of it. It was very deep.
Very deep. You're a seeker. We share our experiences not to build the ego, just to share so that others knows that the same practice gives you variety of experiences. So that is the objective, so that we can grow together, we can evolve together. How are you, Jerry?
I'm good. Sir, it was quiet as you guided us at the point where we went behind the mind. Prior to that, I was having a lot of color. And as soon as you said to go behind the mind, the color stopped.
Color, yes.
So it was interesting. It was just blank. It came again. And the analogy that you used of the highway, and that we wouldn't get bothered by the other cars on the highway, it's kind of like I like the analogy, because if we're living from inside, then the traffic doesn't disturb our peace.
Sure, that's a beautiful way to put it. You see that the way the Jerry has picked up this. What happens? We drive on the same highway, we find the same vehicle, and still we damn care. Can I damn care any thought that enters into the mind? First I step back, I damn care, I am already into that state, and then let me see. Where is the problem? Let me solve it. That is the power of meditation. How are you, Anne?
Okay. Yeah, I feel calm. I succeeded to push what bothers me aside, and I feel better.
Feel better. Very good.
Yeah.
Good. Good. How are you, Stephen?
I'm good. The meditation, the whole message was great. My dog was actually sitting with me during meditation, and of course, as soon as we close our eyes, he starts fumbling around and making noise and leaves and starts barking. And the message of going behind your mind, it instantly set in with me, and all of it went away. And from that point on, the whole meditation became quiet, dark. I heard everything that you were saying, very similar to David, but I wouldn't call it snow. I'd call it darkness for myself. And then it was, I felt cold at some point. And then when you said the first note of the Om, it was like a whole chill went through my body.
Chill. That's a deeper.
I could feel the sound and the vibration of it through my body.
Beautiful. Two things that I appreciate and I like it. You said, this is what happens when you step back. Even you have an extreme pain in the body. The suffering is not there. Pain is there. Why? The mind is not attached to that pain. And that is what you said. The dog came and jumping, and still, the moment you step behind means the mind is still calm. The mind is calm even in turmoil, even in the storm. So you see that I gave the very first practice, which is known as the 4-step relaxation. There I explain, if there is a storm outside, you are outside your home and there is a storm, do we fight with the storm? We rush inside the home, close the door. Then do we create calmness inside the home? It is already there. It's already there. So what mistake we normally do? We start fighting with the thought. Anxiety. How many varieties of anxiety? I studied and while doing masters in psychology, it's an abnormal psychology. So we have more than 3,000 illnesses. And the moment you start studying, now I'm not criticizing it. You see the point in understanding that. This is what, it should be in the state of meditation. How are you, Lorian and Sam? If I have spoken your name.
Caroline.
Oh, she's Carolyn. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But you sent me the message,
Yeah. So for me, because I'm on East Coast, usually I've already logged onto my computer and done some work on Mondays and Thursdays. So on Thursday, I was telling you it had a lot of color and sounds and vibrations. I would say today, because I had not woken up too long ago, it's a Saturday, I had not really looked at any screens, just reading. As soon as we did the body checks, I was blank screen, like David and Stephen.
Beautiful.
And it seemed like it was a 5-minute meditation, not however long it was. It seemed like
we did 35 minutes.
Content. I was listening to you, but it didn't feel like, usually I feel like during the week that, I have something to do afterwards. I didn't feel like there was anything to do but be here. So
Very
that was
calm, relaxed. That is the way younger must do. That's what I have always been saying. How about you, Carolyn? This is your first session with me.
Yes, I was going to say it was great. I felt very calm and focused, and I felt like I entered kind of a different world. But since it was my first longer meditation, you may have noticed I did have trouble focusing the entire time.
Yeah.
But yeah, I had a great experience. I feel good.
And if it is the longest meditation, what will happen to you?
Dozing off a little bit.
Longest meditation means that you live, work, think in meditative state. You are never dozing off. But that's really good. How about you, Terry? Perfectly normal. I like. That's good. I don't hear you. I see you smiling.
Okay, I got the microphone turned on. It was today I feel like I had a good meditation. It was a lot of thoughts, but they were just coming away. And I was hearing every word. Like 2 times I just kind of left. I don't know where I went, and I came back. I think I went into a thought, and then I don't know where it was. But I was not falling asleep, but I was losing control of my body, and I might have looked like I was falling asleep, like my head was dropping, and I was kind of jerking and twitching a little bit. But I just came right back.
Came back, very good. And you did not move the body, you remained calm. The greatest bondage that we experience, or you can say the greatest obstacle that we experience in meditation, is that the mind has a very strong and deeper identification with the body. And when we have a problem in the body, then that identification becomes much stronger. So, contemplate and reflect. I am not the body. By knowing, by becoming aware, and the more it happens to you, the better it is. How are you, Ashok?
Sir, it is good and better. Nothing more to mention at the moment. Thank you.
Good, yeah. Calmness is good. And how about you, Sobha?
So I'm fine. I'm feeling peace, space, and after that, my body is feeling very heaviness. And when you're saying Om, there's a waves comes to my body.
Body, yes. That's a good feeling. So when you don't find the space, then only you join the session. Very good. Good. फ्री का है ना, माल उठा लो जब मर्जी है. How are you, Vaibhav?
That was really very nice. I was very easily able to settle inside myself, and it was very calm.
Very calm.
And when the meditation was over and you were saying just come back to your arms, I was there with my arms, but it was very difficult for me to lift them and then come back to my eyes and come
That's
back.
good.
I was
That's
very
good.
peaceful inside.
Very peaceful inside. Very good. You see, we have covered the 15 verses, and now we have 5 more. And then the real magic starts. What the seeker says in this text, what the seeker says after listening to the teacher. So once we start learning that, this is what he says, don't compare, but see that where you are and where the student in this text enters. So then we can make a difference. We have to continue to work to become a seeker. Any question? No question? Then thank you very much, and we will meet again.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaste.
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 Namaste.